Angga. Hi everyone. Good night. Sorry, and good evening. Uh, I thank you, Anga, and also the OTA community for giving me the chance to participate in this great community. I heard from Anga that you guys did a lot of discussion and also a lot of speaking kind of enhancement activity. And I'm very honored to participate in this community and share it with you about some issue that I think this is one issue that really, comes becomes my calling, which is it is related to water and also actually specifically water and sanitation. But I will not specifically talk about the water and sanitation for now. I will talk about water issue in more general view so that you can participate. And I believe that even though the discussion may be a little bit like technical, but I believe everyone here can participate and also able to give their commentary and also ideas about some discussion topic that I would like to provide here. So, the title is Sustainable Water Governance in Indonesia, and the topic is about how can we attain water justice for all. So I think like this is the question that I would like to you to answer maybe by the end of the uh, our discussion. Maybe can you try to what is that answer this kind of question? But it is after the we discuss everything. So. Just like a snapshot background for you, I'm Luca Pramudita and I'm 12 years. I have a 12 years experience in monitoring, evaluation, and learning unit for different NGOs. So I manage some portfolios, different portfolios, like water and sanitation, maternal and young child nutrition, literacy and numeracy for low-class student, and also early childhood development in the past 12 years. Currently, I'm working for the William and Lily Foundation. It is a philanthropy and local grant making foundation in site in Jakarta. And our program actually focus in enhancing better education, health, and economic output for children and communities in East Nusa Tenggara province. So actually, I want to invite everyone in if anyone here are from East Nusa Tenggara, or do you have friends or also like partners or anyone, I mean like if you're from East Nusa Tenggara, please let us know if you want to join with participating in like our grant making session that will take in, I mean like another in 2025 we will open for another a grant making series, so maybe you can participate sending your application and for next year. I'm graduating from the Master of Applied Anthropology and Development, the Australian University, National University in 2024. So just recently, and international relations. And previously, I'm taking international relations from Brawijaya University in 2012. So yeah, that's just my short background. So we will talk. I will give you like four thematic discussion in this opportunity. And for the first thing first, I would like to introduce about the topic that we are going to discuss, which is the multidimensional aspect of water. So simply, water is essential for our life and for everyone and also every living organism in Earth. And it actually supports our ecosystem and connects to every aspect of human life, which is include the health and hygiene, and then the economy aspect. It can also connects to socio-cultural practices and also politics and governments and also the human rights. And every disruptions actually to water systems not only threaten global health, and this means like, for example, like in 2012, 2019 and 2012. Sorry, 2019 and 2020, there were all over the world we have like a COVID-19 infection, which is also related to disease because the preventive mechanism is to washing our hands, something like that. And they eager us to, of course, washing hands need water at that time. So any disruption to water systems this threaten a global health, but also deepen the inequality and injustice uh, in the world. I mean, like in the social aspect. So, because we currently know about the multidimensional aspect of water, which is related to ecosystem and then health and hygiene, economy, and so on, I would like to invite you for our first activity. Can you guys identify some water issues from each of these topics in Indonesia? So I want to give the floor to you. I mean, if any one of you want to mentioning about the or identifying some water issues related to environmental and ecosystem maybe, and health and hygiene, economic and development, sociocultural aspect and politics and governance. Anyone? The floor is yours. Maybe I would like to actually I want to make the issue maybe like close to Indonesia, but because I know that some of our friends here are international participants, so I also welcome you guys to join us if you can give like some insights of some water issues that you find in your community or in your area. I already give you like one examples. For example, like in 2019, uh, related to health and hygiene, one of the problem is like infectious diseases like COVID-19. So it is like kind example of water issues, yeah, in related to health and hygiene. Anyone want to reflect on other issues, maybe?
Mas Luk,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt. Um, you may also see the participants that is raising
Oh,
their hand if they
oh, so,
uh, may want to speak up. But can I start, Mas Luk?
oh yeah, yeah, please.
Okay. I just wanna. I'm trying to like trigger other participants to speak up as well.
Yeah.
So regarding the questions you are giving to us here, I would like to highlight the health and hygiene issues, Masluk, because currently I'm living in a city where it's quite hard to get like an easy access to health and hygiene in terms of the water. Uh,
Mm.
it's easy if you have money, but if you don't have money, it's hard like to get it anywhere because our environment has been polluted, our rivers, etc.,
Yeah.
etc. In the past, you might easily get the water anywhere, but for now, especially when you're living in the city, it's hard for you to get water freely. You need to buy for it, and if you don't have much money you barely get the water that you need. So I think health and hygiene water is one of the issues that we are
Mm.
facing right now.
Yeah, thank you, Anga. I think you already mentioning two problems in your sentence. First thing first, you are talking about if you don't have money, then you will not able to get the water, which is more into like the economical problem because if you don't have money, then you just cannot access water. And then the other one is you also mentioning about the oh I forgot the pollution, the water pollution because due to the pollution, so that the water should be filtered, so you can access, you cannot just like take the water from the river and then you consume it. You just can't do that. Maybe if you are living like nearby the somewhere in which is pretty pristine, the water is still clear and pristine, you can use it directly. But of course, you cannot do that here in Jakarta or in any other cities. Okay, Saifullah Putra want to give your opinion?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Luke. I want to try to express my idea about this topic. Uh, I think it's still related to my study, which is in public health. Yeah,
Oh,
some
nice.
major, yeah, some major in my courses teach me about the hygiene also, and the water and environmental also. So I would like to maybe to differ this issue to two specific areas in rural areas and urban areas.
Mhm.
Maybe in rural areas, the people tend to have lack of water. I think the good water, good quality water, because they have lack of wealth to maybe to obtain the good water to maybe to watering their plants, their vehicle, and to support all the household necessities. And also maybe for the poor people who don't have any toilet or latrine in their household, they tend to defecate or do urination in rivers and lakes because they can't install the toilet in their household, and it can lead to several health problems like diarrhea and cholera, maybe skin disease, and so on. And it's different with the urban areas, which is maybe the urban people have a ability and ability to obtain good quality of water. And what's the major problem in urban area, which is the extraction of underground water, which is supposed to to land subsidence, like we maybe like happen in Jakarta right now. The people extract the underground water aggressively. So they will make the Jakarta's land subsidence gradually year by year. I think that's all the issues, maybe the background issues uh, of water issues in Indonesia.
Okay, thank you so much, Mas Saifullah, if I'm not mistaken. You're pointing some great examples, and you also dividing the two different situation, which one is like urban, and then the other one is the in the rural area. And I agree to your points. You are pointing out about the situation when people cannot accessing toilet and then they defecate openly in river or maybe like in anywhere they want to defecate. And also like the urination like you mentioned, actually that's also happened in, I believe that that's also still happen in some cities. So it's not only like a rural problem but also like the urban area we still can find it. And you also mentioning like a very great example of land subsidence where the groundwater is extracted too much and then it leads, maybe that's also the reason why we are moving our what's that, our ibu kota to Kalimantan,
Capital.
which is near the close to Anggas, the place where Anggas living. I mean like the what is it, the Penajam Pasir, if I'm not mistaken, Angga, because
Yeah,
Angga is from
Pasir.
there, so like close to them, the Nusantara. Okay, thank you so much, Vera. I welcome your opinion.
All right, thank you so much. So for me, I would love to point out about the environmental and ecosystem because talking about rural area and stuff, in my whole life, I've been living in rural area where the water is mostly sourced from the nature. So I
Mm,
think in the rural area, in the place where I live, in my whole life, the the ecosystem give much chance to us to live from the water source that we live in. But yeah, it's not always happens like in a good way. But there's
mm,
several things that is also in a bad way. For example, when the big heavy rain happens, so the water will be also mixed with the mud and everything.
mm,
But when it is a drought, we have a really good water, like it is become a crystal clear, but somehow the amounts of the water is not as much as the time when the rainy season happened. And yeah, living in rural area, water is like a big source for the agricultural stuff. So in here we have the irrigations for that, and yeah, it becomes a big problem when the drought season happen because the amounts of the water is close to be known. So a lot of
mm,
farmer
mm,
will be feel like a little bit confused and try to solve the problem where they
mm,
need to find
mm.
a lot of water. I
Yeah.
think that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Vera, for pointing out other great example, which is you mentioning about maybe close to like if we have you were mentioning about droughts. So that's another idea, and also about the disruption in environmental and also the ecosystem. And you also mentioning about when maybe like a flood, something like that. So this is currently also because we are now in a rainy season here in Indonesia. So I believe that you must be here that some area in Indonesia already facing like a flood, and also maybe like a few months ago, like the droughts is also happening in some area. And yeah, as you mentioning, like the agriculture become less productive during the drought because maybe the farmers need to find another source of water to watering their plants. Okay, I think like I saw Jacob. Uh,
Yes,
John.
hello.
Okay,
Yeah.
please.
So I think you have you have mentioned about my insights about flood issue. So I will
Mm-hmm.
be talking actually about this kind of issue, it is flood, but from the perspective of the Eastern Indonesia. So
Okay, okay.
it's a big issue that is currently happening in my hometown, Merauke, the east,
Mm-hmm.
the very eastern city in Indonesia. So currently, the government has a massive program about the food estate,
Yeah.
especially rice, sugar, and also bioethanol. So it's really easy to find information like they destruct the forest, especially in Papua. And if
Mm-hmm.
I'm not mistaken, the area is distracted about 32 times the area of Jakarta, which is really massive actually.
Okay.
Growing up in Merauke, actually, I've never ever experienced that kind of situation like flood.
Mm,
But sadly, last year, when I just came back from Australia and see the situation like the forest is being massively, aggressively distracted, especially the
mm,
forest, and it leads to an issue about the flood,
mm,
which is really impossible if we think about Papua, which is a big island full of
mm.
forests, and yeah, the open
And
area
the
is
flood just happened.
it's definitely impossible to get
Mm,
that
mm.
happen, but it's happened. So for
Yeah.
kind of dilemma about this issue because it's a like a vital uh, program from the government, but talking about the local point of view, it's really sad like the land of the people there, like the indigenous Papuans, they take their homeland actually. So it's a bit dilemma, but it's a big issue that we need to think of. And yeah, that's a big issue actually. And hopefully, uh, even though they will do the deforestation, but hopefully there will be some preventive mitigation that they can do to mitigate that kind of issue later on. Thank you, Luke.
Okay, thank you, John. You just mentioning another point of view. Thank you. You already expanding your experience as Meraukeans, giving your perspective from the eastern part of Indonesia, where as a Papuan you never found. I mean, like there was a lot of rainforest there and almost impossible to get flooded, but during this period when the government tried to get a food implementing the food estate program there, and then you find that it starts to changing the landscape of the Merauke, and then of course that's also related to our another point of view here in politics and governance. It means that there is a program from the government that actually can like disrupting the water cycle in Merauke right now, and it's also related to the politics because this is like the government program, and the other point of view you mentioning is also about the ethics because maybe you also mentioning like are the government asking the locals about their ideas about the food estate program and so on. Thank you, John. Sunshine, I'm welcoming you to participate in our discussion.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. Am I audible?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
very clear. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So I'd like to also address one of the raising issues that has been stated before by Tera, still about
Mm.
the water scarcity. I think like our farmers still believe that the availability of water is somehow guaranteed. I think this is like still a false, how to say, it's like a false assumption that have been simply believed by so many farmers, even though they know exactly just how harmful the climate change they are freezing and affecting significantly to the crops that they have. Is that they need to realize the importance of technology and the policies given by the government. And I also believe that the contributions from the government is given to empower the agricultural industries or agricultural landscape in Indonesia is somehow lacking so much. I think it again depends on the political will of the top leaders, even though we believe that, yeah, fourth state is somehow still uh, um, wouldn't show us an explicit positive outcomes, yeah, from the expected returns on the expansion. So common people believe that it's just another way to make deforestation or to just eradicate some natives or indigenous public to
Yeah.
get more lands for the sake of profits for certain companies. In addition to that, I also this also reminds me of what happens in one of the stories that I heard from my friends studying in the UK. So
Mm.
even if, like for example, they can drink like from the tap, but again, by testing the quality of the water itself, it doesn't compromise like to the expected health. Like it's not that really healthy. And comparing it with what happens in Surabaya, for example, like the hottest city in Indonesia. If I'm not mistaken, I also heard that the local governments try to doing the best to manage the dirty waters, converting it into um, accessible, how to say, reusable water, if I'm not mistaken. I think this should still be improved, yeah, from the governments, especially like Indonesia now have been observed in terms of attentions to something more political. Okay, so I kind of I kind of barely find any think tank that address the water scarcity. It's only happened like in seasonal situations, like in the water security that
Mm.
happened like a few months ago. But until now, the discussions on on such raising issues like kind of being scarce. And yeah, I
Mm,
think
mm,
we need more think tank that have the concentrations toward this. And of course, think tank is most of them like non-profit organizations, mean that the political contributions and political interventions, government interventions need to also address this because, again, the focus would be the sustainability and long-term impact. I think
mm.
that's my comment. Thank you.
Okay, great, Sunshine. Thank you very much for explaining some other aspect, which is you mentioning so many different point of view from your discussion. So you mentioning about how is the climate change exacerbating the living of the farmers in Indonesia because in the you know they will get flooded during the rainy season, but on in another season they will also get drought, so that they have to get it from other sources. You also mentioning later about the idea of indigenous. I like what you was already mentioning about the indigenous right. So yeah, I also supporting about that issue. How the government is maybe not very ethical in terms of maybe the idea of the food estate, and not only in Merauke but also in other area like in Kalimantan. They cannot just showing what is the progress that already gone that already done, what already happened in Kalimantan, but they try to like expanding the same program in other area, which like John already said before, uh, it is already have a like a issue there because they find like the flood is already happening there. So yeah, thank you very much for pointing that issue, and about your analysis mentioning about how is the framework. I think mentioning about the think tank. So maybe like the water justice issue that we will discuss tonight maybe can help or supplement, become like a supplementation for how the think tank should think or rethink about how to make water accessible to all. So thank you so much. I will continue to other slides. So yeah, you all thank you guys for the participation. I think you already mentioning so many waters issue. So here I just give you like a snapshot on some media headlines that covering the issue of water issue in Indonesia. So in this side, like we can say like the bad sanitation in Indonesia, and also mentioning about the droughts, and also this one in Jakarta, it's related to flood. Oh, sorry, the flood, and on the other hand, like it's also mentioning about diarrhea, so it's related to health. We also talk some other headlines mentioning about water pollution in Danau Batur, which we all know that Balinese people are using water for their cultural, I mean, like for their, yeah, for their cultural life, and also related to the economic activities. We also mentioning about the uh, PLTA, pembangkit listrik tenaga air, and then masyarakat adat, the indigenous people from Metalefang in NTT, if I'm not mistaken, in maybe, and also other indigenous people from other province, and also like in Freeport, also mentioning about the planning for implementing the um, food estate, and also the what is that palm oil plantation, something like that. This kind of headlines actually underlining about water issue in Indonesia, and we can also know that right now that water is related to every single activity or social activities in our life. So we have to pay attention about this issue further. So moving on to the next slide. Okay, sorry. So I want to raise one issue that I think like this one is like an emerging issue. So have you ever heard anyone hear about the climate, energy, food, and water nexus before?
No.
No. Okay. I'll just give you like a very short introduction. So actually, water resources face competing demands. They are needed to support the food production, yet they are also increasingly diverted for the food production itself is diverted to energy uh, to allow us to get another greener energy, what they campaign as like a better sustainable energy, something like that. Particularly for biofuels from crops like palm oil and also corn and sugar cane. So as the population grows, agriculture demands more water to meet food needs. And meanwhile, the shift towards sustainable energy sources, prioritizing high-value crops for biofuel, often at the expenses at diverse water use and land management. So the other, what we already mentioning before from John and also from Sunshine about the food estate is like one of the example of this kind of issue of climate, energy, food, and water nexus. And the other thing is about the climate change actually exacerbates the water scarcity even greater and adding to these challenges even more. So I'll just give you like the triangles of the nexus between the water, energy, and also food. So you can see from the picture that actually the climate change and also social change in our society actually make like giving like more burden for this triangle because actually maybe we can assume that the demand for water for our domestic use is increasing while water is also needed for to provide energy and also to provide us with the crops and also the food that we need. And at the other point, it's also used for generating energy. So actually, it's just like interrelated. And um, talking about this retaliation, I want to get your opinion. So if I want you to think if yourself as an Indonesian government official who responsible for to attaining the sustainable water use in Indonesia, which policy or what kind of recommendation which you will prioritize to implement. So do you want to implement water for food production, water for industry, or water for domestic needs? So anyone, I welcome you to joining the floor. If any one of you can mentioning about you can elaborate your argument why you want to choose like prioritizing the food production for industry or for domestic needs, or maybe like you have another opinion. I welcome you to join the floor. So anyone want to discuss or you want to rethink? I will give you like 1 or 2 minutes related to this. Okay, Mr. Sunshine, I welcome
Okay,
you again to join
okay,
us.
thank you. I'm just also looking forward to other to join, but I kind of wait, but there's nobody raising hands yet. All right, so I'm going to begin it by stating that if I'm not mistaken, from the GDP last year, I think the key city sectors can somehow meet the domestic demands, while at the same time they can also export some of the outcomes as well as still secure the cadangan, yeah, the stock for even Indonesia for this year. So I think the consensus would be how to secure first the the I think we need to more understanding toward the domestic and the food production. I mean, like if it's like food production, would it be like for domestic demands or domestic needs
Mm.
or for different one? I mean, like whether it is for exporting or importing or what. So I think the first one is to meet the demands of the people themselves. It should
Mm.
be secured because that's the number one priority because
Okay.
it's essential to secure the welfare, the well-being of the people that start from the food itself, I think, yeah. So it's kind of between the food productions and water for domestic, where we can actually feeling safe in this area, we can start to improve more to industry because I think the gap between food productions and domestics are quite big. And of course,
Mm.
to fill the gap, we need a long-term process and stages that is not easy since there would be many stakeholders related and coordinated to succeed with these kinds of targets. And let alone to water for industry, I think it will be a long process because until this time, probably it's the most renowned one would be aqua, something that water being canned, but no more than that. Or if we take a look at the case of the government systems like PDRM, I think this kind of company, state-owned company, do not really show significant positive performance in, for example, in being more transparent about the profitability that can somehow provide how you say like spill over positive effects to the surrounding people. It just meets the basic requirements of what need to and the demands of the people, and no more than that. I think the PDRM itself as the jangkar, as the anchor of the government, especially in dealing with the demands of the people in terms of water needs, should be empowered. I think from within, from the internal, the government. I do not really understand whether this become the responsibility of which minister, but I think there should be more than just think tank within this minister, but more into coordinated actions, yeah, more FGD, but also how to disseminate this into feasible actions and initiatives. Of course, the NGO should be also invited to make collaborations. I think that's my short comment.
Thank you, Mr. Sunshine. Again, you're pointing out some great ideas. First thing first, you mentioning about uh, you answering that we should prioritizing for the domestic need first, and then secondly for the food production, and then later for the industry. And you also mentioning about how we should improving the work of our local PDAM, maybe like to improving the to expanding, I mean like the water access to all the household uh in the region that we have. And I think that's also the idea of our government right now. I don't know whether they will push it through the PDAM, or maybe like they will inviting some, like through like public-private partnership with the private sector. But it also will means that when we are inviting the private sector into the business, so it means that we have to pay for that. I mean, like it doesn't matter if we pay, but at the, like a very um how to say, like the great rate, I mean like that we can purchase. But of course, if you also mentioning, if those who are participating in the private sector is like Aqua or other, big multinational company, then it will also cost us more to get the water. And maybe that become like a inclining gap between who can access water and who cannot, because it will relies on uh, whether you have money or not, as the first thing. Okay, anyone, any other idea that want to answer this kind of question? So which policy do you want to prioritize? Water for food production, for industry, or for the domestic needs? And if you have some idea on how to enhance it, maybe please welcome. I was just uh, accepting your suggestion.
Masluk,
Yeah.
if no one is raising their hair, you may just like point someone, especially who hasn't spoken up yet. Yeah,
Oh, can
that's
I
a
do that?
yeah.
Okay. Is it okay? I mean, like, if that's allowed, then maybe I will just.
I think everyone is has a great idea, but they're just shy.
Okay. I haven't heard from maybe um Sophie Anand. Please welcome if you want to give your opinion. Oh, okay. Finish your business first then. Okay,
Look,
maybe.
can I share just a bit, Masluk,
Oh
while
yeah,
waiting for others as well?
yeah.
Yeah,
Also,
I
can you
really
stop
agree.
sharing or?
Yeah, can I, Masluk?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Sure.
Oh, your screen.
Oh, do you do you want me to, just or okay. So should I just presenting
Yeah,
the
yeah.
screen?
I think you can share your screen while listening.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
while
just
waiting for you, I guess I really agree with Sunshine's point regarding coordinated action, between sectors, both from energy, from food production, and for domestic needs and so on, because they're all equally important. But I think that in their own sector, they also have different priority, different solution, etc., etc. For instance, in terms of energy, for example, yes, now we are in the era of energy transitions where we are trying to divert our energy system from the dirty energy, which is from coal, into more like cleaner, greener energy. And clean and green energy come from not only from biofuels, which is extracted from food, for example. They can come from a variety of uh, like different sources, particularly renewable energy sources such as wind and solar power,
mm,
which in Indonesia has like many sources, like has so much potential, Indonesia. So a lot of researchers from NGOs I know say that um, energies from green energy sources from water and wind are more potential, and we have more sources on that in Indonesia, especially. That's
okay.
why I think when we are using water for growing the food for the energy needs, for me, I'm convinced that we need to use wind and solar power more than other
Mm,
sources like biofuel, for instance, which has a lot of needs for food, right? Yes, that's my point. So,
yeah,
coordinated action is important as different sector has also their own solutive solution related to water, for instance.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's my point. Thank you. See, while I'm talking, another people is showing up.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you,
you
Masud.
so much, Anga. You making like a very great point. Maybe diverting and also first thing first you have to do. I think the government of Indonesia should, like making like a great coordination with other sectors and also diverting the sources from of the green energy, not from the biofuel, but maybe from water and also from the wind. Maybe like the solar panel can also contribute to that. Okay, thank you so much, Angga. Saifullah, you want to uh, give your opinion, please welcome.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Luke. I would like to express my idea about this view. I assume that the government should revert to the 1945 Constitution regarding the managing of the water, like in the Article 33. It's explains about the how the country should regulate uh, I think the benefits of water and lands entirely. For these categories, I think all of these categories are essential for us. But for the most one is water for domestic needs. Why? If we talk about the production, food production, which is maybe for farms and crops, etc., and industry, they need the workforces uh, to manage this industry or maybe these sectors. So the workforce come from the household, right? So I think the government should regulate the legal framework to give the good quality of water to domestic needs firstly. Why? Because I've seen that many Indonesian household has expanded to the essential life like food and water. And we've seen that we need to purchase the the natural water, the spring water. I don't know what the vocabulary for the air mineral water. Okay, mineral water. We have to buy it from the refilling provider, right? So I think it it costly much to our expenditure. And if we see to the maybe to the developed countries who have independently provided the water supply for their people, if our government can enhance the technology or maybe the factory to, I think, to sterilize the water to be safe to be drink, I think it will reduce our household expenditure
Hmm.
to rely on the water needs from buying from the refilling provider. So I recommended the government should invest more on technologies and factories to sterilize the water from anywhere, maybe from river and from underground water and maybe from the sea uh, to supply the people's water for mineral water for maybe daily consumption freely. Maybe that's all
Okay.
from me.
Thank you so much, Saifullah, for pointing out another ideas. So I just like want to make a resume from your opinion. So yeah, um, in our Constitution 1945 Article 33, that's mentioning that the water should be water and also other natural resources should be governed by the government for the for all the population of Indonesia, and that should be I think like the first this is like the become like our country's cornerstone to develop the better facilities for water facilities for the domestic needs, especially to water consumption and also for the daily use. And you also mentioning about we should investing in more technologies that maybe um, not only to cleaning the water, but maybe because I believe that the PDAM itself or the water companies that owned by the government is only existing in like a very like big cities. But when we are talking about the rural area, I think like we still have no water companies that state-owned water companies that can reach out the community. So I agree to you that we should invest in the technology to make a water filtration. But I also want to adding some points that we have to expanding the the coverage area for the water to the household level, maybe in the rural area. Thank you so much. Any other ideas? If not, then I will just moving on to another topics.
Mas look, I think
Yeah.
you should appoint some participants here.
Oh, okay, okay. Um,
I can talk now.
okay. Welcoming you, Tia.
Okay, so yeah, I'm super interested with what Saiful said. Okay, since I live in Malaysia, I also felt that I can just easily drink for the tap water here. It's a
Hmm, hmm,
super cheap filter.
hmm,
Um, I think Indonesia is uh, one of the most country with a very many mountain. So the source of water
hmm,
is so many compared to the other
hmm,
country, especially in Southeast Asia. But yeah, the technology is not there. But what I am thinking is politics plays
hmm,
big role here because
hmm,
government also engage with a multinational company who provide mineral waters. So if we just only talk about government put the investment in the technology to
hmm,
make the water be drinkable for us, then it will be unsustained for the investment from the multinational company, and multinational company will leave Indonesia
hmm,
because they
hmm,
cannot gain any profit. So I think um, I'm I'm okay with government prioritize to implement water for food production, industry, or any domestic needs, but do not forget about the other aspect to balance it with what the private sector has invested to the country as well. Maybe we can engage with the private sectors to
yeah.
to work on the technology, for
Hmm,
example.
hmm.
So yeah, that kind of thing lah. It's not a new idea, but just to add what Saiful has said earlier. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much, Tia. Yeah, Tia is living in Malaysia and she said that she can just get fresh water just from the tap water, which actually Malaysia is just next to our country, but we still have no experience in like getting this experience. Maybe for some people who are living in uh yeah, some area, maybe they already have the water filtration, which is like a very good water filtration, and then just get it from the tap water in Indonesia. But of course, still, it is not everyone in Indonesia can access the tap water easily. And I agree, and also agree to you, Tia, that you mentioning that the government should also inviting the investment from the private sector. And I think like the public-private partnership is kind of a good idea in this mechanism, because I believe that Indonesia still has to, expanding the coverage area for the water for the household water to household facilities, and I believe that we can invest more. I mean, we can inviting the private sector to participate, but we also have to make sure that the private sector do not monopolizing the water, the use of water, so that both the government and also the private sector can get the sorry, not the government get the benefit from the private sector, and also the household itself, our community can also access improvement in water access, and then the private sectors can also get the benefit from this operational. Yeah, great idea, thank you so much, Tia. um Maybe like one more arguments. Okay. Maybe Zulfa want to participate? Or if not, then I will just go to another point because I still have like two more points for our discussion. So, yeah, um, returning to our topics, to our discussion topic, which is related to the water governance. So the governance here means how to manage uh, water to be sustainable and accessible for everyone. I would like to offer you with one kind of framework, which is this framework. The framework we discuss right now is I get it from the Sultana paper. I mean, like if you want to get the paper, I can send it to you later. But I just want to you I want us to focus on the topics that is written by the Sultana. So how to make how to do like the water governance. So Sultana is mentioning about the water justice concept. She mentioned it as a like a kind of a framework or the way of thinking for us to, get the insight on how to govern the water into to be equitable, to be accessible for all. And she's pointing out that water is actually human rights and equitable access should leave no one behind. So she's pointing out that the I think like the SDGs 2030s is also targeting that water should be especially the drinking water should be accessible to everyone, and also the sanitation is also should be the universal coverage for everyone. But the 2023 UN Water Development Report actually shows or mentioning that 26 of the global population lacks access to safe drinking water, while the 46% is lacks in sanitation. So we already mentioning before about the issue of water in relations to the domestic aspect. So we are now talking about the water and sanitation here, and they are pointing out. And if I'm not mistaken, the SDGs 6 that talks about this issue is actually they are prioritizing the use of water for the domestic use first. So they're pointing out the first use is for the drinking water, and then the other one is for the sanitation aspect. Because if I'm not mistaken, according to my understanding, if we can keep the water clean from the open defecation, then it means that we can just cut down the spread of the infectious disease, and that is the most important things that we have to ensure to make sure that our health is great, that we can achieve the uh, great health. And I want to pointing out the bold one in this presentation, that marginalized groups, especially women, children, low-income communities, and minorities, especially one of the example is the indigenous group, actually bear the greatest impact of this inequity. So actually, I give you like some like one of poster here, the yellow poster, which is related to water and gender. If you haven't heard about this before, so I want you to know that actually, genderly, in all over the world, the women and also children actually bear the greater risk to water, especially when during the water crisis. So if I can give you like an example from the East Nusa Tenggara province, so based on my experience, like some children and also some women, they because there is like a stratification of gender, what is that yeah, the responsibility, so related to domestic domestic work, women and also children should, like tapping water from the water source and then bring it home. And if they cannot access this kind of water, it means that they cannot go to school because they have to walk like 1 or 2 kilometers just to fetching the water, and then they bring home. So they have to fetch it like early in the morning, like before the sunrise maybe, and then they have to make sure that they coming home before the time they go to school. And can you just imagine if this is happen, and this is all always happen to girl and also children and also women, because they responsible for fetching water and to provide water. So can you imagine like this kind of situation makes them like facing the time poverty, because the children actually can use their time to study. They can use their time to, like bit more relaxing, but they have to be hurry in the morning and then coming just to get the water and then go home, and then they have to go to school and they still have to walk for another minute. So I mean like that this is kind of figure that actually happen in Indonesia, and maybe in other countries as well. It's also happen. So yeah, the yellow poster tells so many things. So increasing demands of care work and the negative impact of education, as what I've mentioned, and increased risk of violence. So can you imagine if the woman or also children don't get the water, and then uh the father maybe like just beat them, because why can't you just get the water at the correct time, something like that. They will just so it will increasing the domestic violence, and then the negative impact on health hygiene, of course, because women need during their period they have to, like use more water just to wash the just to yeah for their needs, and also lack of women voices. This is also another issue, especially in the rural area. If you ever heard about Pamsimas program, so the Pamsimas always water is always related to men's uh what is that? Like it's like a man's problem, because uh, the infrastructure related to the infrastructure development of water usually assumed to be like a man, uh, yeah, man related things rather than women's. But in fact, actually, those who are, if the infrastructure already settled down, then actually women are responsible to get the water, which is can you imagine like this is like just not ideal. I mean, like, in terms of gender, it is like the responsibility of men is just fewer than women, but actually they need the one who use water is not only the men, right? Not only the women, right? But the men and women, boys and girl are using water, and the negative impact to food security. So I think like I talk too much. So I will just go to another slides. So water justice actually emphasize the needs tooling the democracy, citizenships, and also development to ensure equitable water access. And a justice water governance should be democratized by acknowledging struggles, addressing equity, and also rectifying social injustices. So a water ethics framework should guide governance to prioritize access to clean, safe water based on equity, sustainability, rights, fairness, local accountability, and democratic processes, while also meeting diverse community needs. So, so this is just to make you like a short introduction about the concept of water justice, it means that if you want to apply water for all, then you have to install in your mind that you should considering all these factors to become the consideration for us to provide water with the water justice system into our into the implementation. So just give you like another explanation for the water justice system. First thing first, in this side we can say that who is unrecognized or misrecognized about the use of water. For example, like what I've already mentioned before about women. I mean, those who are fetching water should be women and also kids, but the men just staying at home and then like doing another things, maybe because these kind of things, and whose perspective is counted, uh, according to whom, and whose knowledge is actually counts. This is maybe more related to so who is into the debate, who is into or who is dominating the conversation, something like that. So we have to aware about that, and we also have to discuss about who is actually responsible and who pays for the damage. So for example, like if a flood happen, then we have to asking like who should responsible for this, and actually who really get a greater impact or get a more damage for the flood, and who caused the problem. So we have to specifically thinking about so many different kinds of point rather than just like making the policies. Okay, this is the policies that I want to make. This is the recommendation, but we have to considering so many things. So this is the simple answer. Hopefully, it's simple enough for you to understand about the principle of water justice. So moving on to the third activity. So after hearing or like discussing about the thoughts on Sultana's idea on water justice framework, any idea or any insights or any um, fruit of minds that comes from you to about this kind of concept? Or maybe if you want to give your opinion whether you are agree or disagree to Sultana's proposal, just raise your voice, or if you have some any ideas, just let us know. Anyone want to try? And again, I'm sorry, Angga, if I talk too much. So because maybe like the framework itself is a bit too technical, but hopefully it is clear enough for you. But if you have any idea, or I mean like if you have any question, you want to discuss more about this, I'm welcoming everyone to participate. Yes, Mr. Sunshine.
Okay, it's always interesting to make comparative analysis between gender. Okay, I think when it comes to populations, and one of the sources that is relevant is that in 2030, the population of South Indonesia will like increase from 117 million something to 192 million or something. However, what's most interesting is what happened recently. Just like what happened in Korea, there are 4 million, if I'm not mistaken. Indonesia experienced the same. There has been a decline, a trend declining in terms of marriage, in terms of making serious relationship. So I think this somehow empower and echoing louder about the matriarchy over the patriarchy system that have been enveloping the societal issues or the societal relationship we have in our society. Referring that to our discussions that um, the questions that just pop out in my mind like if, for example, women are given authority to highlight certain issues relating to their day-to-day demands or
Mm.
day-to-day responsibilities, changing landscapes of responsibility, shifting to more modern women that pushing career. Will they be able to generate the same policies just like the patriarchy system that have been unconsciously, continuously enacted until now in our country? So the point is that, okay, the point is that um, I think even if, for example, in your case, you always like amplify that the idea of women often being the one in vulnerable positions. However, in some situations, men also become the one. I mean, here is like the reliable sources in terms of physical needs. Because, for example, like to trespass the river, the one who built the bridge would be the man. The one who dig the well would be the man. The one who also install the pipes would be the man. I think we need to properly assess this on balance so that it can provide more equal responsibilities and opportunities. Means that in each of them, they have like certain emotional benefits. They have like more physical advantages. So in this case, I do agree with justice because like probably something that need to be questioned about the accessibility, the affordability, responsibility of the government so far to improve the collaborative or the mutual interactions that will ensure, I mean, like just what you did. The increase of violence happened because the inability to maintain or to secure the principal well-being. I think
Mhm.
water is one of them, aside from the
Mhm.
energy. So the moment when you realize the principal things in your life being disturbed, relationship will even get worse. Right? So yeah,
Mhm.
I think it's a crucial issue. It's the responsibility of the governments, and even like I'm still questioning whether you have solid evidence where some countries with high level of matriarchy, not patriarchy, successfully deal with any water related problems. I think that's my comment.
Okay, thank you so much for the arguments and also for the question. Okay, so I was just pointing out that you mentioning that if women given the what is that the activity from day to day. Okay, so your point is related to how if women, I mean, like you mentioning like the men also women already have their own responsibility related to the domestic one. Maybe you mentioning like the man installs the duct well, the well and also the installing the water facilities, and then women responsible to other uh responsibility. Yeah, I think like that's actually what we already seen in our maybe in our culture in Indonesia and also other. But what the point that we want to raise the in terms of the injusticity related to the gender balance in the water here is actually not related to the point is not to change it into like the matter, sorry, patriarchy and then the matriarchy things. It doesn't mean that we have to change into like the matriarchy. No, we just want to raise the issue here that actually women and also while women requiring to get the fetching the water and so on. I mean, like, why don't we think that how if we leveraging the access better so that women and also children do not have to, you know, sacrificing their time to get the water. I mean, like by providing water more accessible to everyone. So we are not only talking about in terms of gender. It is much better for us to providing for everyone so that they can access the water equally. So I think that's That's my response to your questions. And Shaifullah, I welcome you to join the floor.
Okay, well, thank you for the opportunity. Yeah, I content that Sultana's idea is the maybe is the is the great idea to address these water issues, especially for Indonesia, which is developing country. So I think, as I said before, like the government should all ears the problems from the marginalized groups, which are the women, the children, and maybe the minority communities who don't have any access to what good water quality. And maybe this is the mistake that the government always do, like they always determine what's the best solution for people's problem, and they don't want to hear the people's opinion, or maybe like people's problem directly from from the people who I think who experience this problem. And maybe our people don't have any opportunity to give their opinion or maybe their voice to government, but the government can provide the place or maybe the opportunity for the think tank from the maybe community, for the researchers who expert in this case or in this issue, to voice the marginalized groups to the parliament or maybe to the authority. And we also need, I think, need our politician or maybe our people's representative to, I think, to give the bigger portion for the academics to give their opinion to eradicate the problems in Indonesia. It's maybe in all of the areas, like not only the water, but also the health, the economy, the education, and so on. And for the water, I think it is inevitable situation that women, children, uh, strain burdensome of the shortage of water access, because I think a lot of households in Indonesia still do some patriarchy things that the men have the high authority in household, and the woman also has the task to do all daily chores in the household. It can strain the woman if the water access uh, doesn't provide maybe adequately to provide domestic needs. And we also hope the government should, I think, should give the investment for the creating uh, daily water consumption for our people. Maybe we can start from the rural areas who have maybe high technology to supply the top water for the initial top water, and it can bring up to maybe to rural areas. I think the government should start immediately to supply the good water, the drinking water from the tap water, to maybe to give the better access for people to, yeah, to get the drinking water easily and freely. Maybe that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Saifullah. Great idea. So you're pointing out about the importance of the participation of academician and also those who are from the marginalized group, so that their voice can be heard by our House of Representative, maybe like those who are sitting in DPR and also MPR, just to make sure that they are aware about this kind of issue. And it's also a great answer that you're mentioning about the importance of academicians. I think our nations is also still like giving like very poor, you know, analysis about our public policy. So maybe like giving the chance from the academic sector can improve the a better public policy in Indonesia. Thank you so much. I'm inviting other people, maybe those who haven't discussed or haven't talked from anyone here want to raise their opinion. Maybe can I ask Anis to participate or give your opinion?
Thank you so much for the chance, but I'm sorry. I have really lack information about this topic, so I prefer to get more information for myself.
Okay.
By the way, thank you so much, Mr. Luke. It's really insightful for me.
Okay, thank you so much, Anis. All good. Maybe Sakina.
Hello, Mister. Thank you
Yes.
for this opportunity. Well, I will try to share my an opinion about this topic. Um, yeah, based on the idea that we have discussed before, that uh, actually one of the groups in marginalized group is low income community.
Mm,
Um, I think uh, it can be uh, exist issue because like as we know that more than many people in our country are lower income middle I mean
mhm,
lower middle income people uh, and it can be the access problem due to the I mean uh, they don't have job, yeah, for earning money, and that can be one of the reason uh,
mhm,
they cannot access the water itself because as we know that even the government provide accessible water just like PDAM, but
yeah.
actually they don't have enough money for
You're right.
paying that. It
Yes.
can be more crucial, I think.
Yeah. Mm,
And as we have discussed before also about the drinking water is more crucial than the sanitation itself. I think both of these both of those things are more crucial since people cannot do more. I mean, yeah, for such activities in our household,
mm,
uh, we need to take care about the sanitation itself, not
mhm.
only for fulfilling our needs for drinking, but for drinking water, but also yeah, for cleaning our home or
Yeah.
do such a household activity.
Yeah.
It should need water itself. So I think both of these things also crucial.
Mm.
That's it from me. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. Yes, you're right. You're pointing out that the lower income families or the lower income household suffering more because they have to pay more, and maybe some of them because they don't have like enough money, so that it means that they cannot access the water, and the affordability is just far from their reach, because they have to prioritizing maybe to feeding their families rather than building toilets, or just like accessing, I mean, like accessing water maybe they have to pay for that more than what they can their income, something like that. So yeah, thank you so much for pointing out that points. Any other? Maybe I welcoming Mr. or Miss JNR because you're opening your camera. Maybe you want to participate, giving your opinion.
Oh, no, no. Actually, I just not really familiar with this topic. So, but I totally listening your explanation. So it's interesting.
Okay.
So
Okay,
thank you,
thank you
sir.
so much. Yeah. Any other participants want to participate?
Me.
Is it you, Angga?
Yes,
Sorry.
yes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But if other friends wanna speak up first, give their opinions. Like I haven't heard from Henny and I think it's Haras with the Thai alphabets.
Oh
You,
yeah, okay.
Haras, also hasn't spoken up yet. Oh yeah, Haras is here.
Hi,
Yeah.
Haras.
Hi, Mr. Luke.
Yeah, come on, Haras.
Okay. I actually I only heard about the discussion because I was actually eating.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
All
I'm
good,
sorry
all
I couldn't
good.
answer it.
Yeah,
Thanks,
okay.
Mr. Luke.
Thank you so much. Any other
Me,
participants?
Mas Luk.
Yes, I'm welcoming you, Angga, please.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna raise my concerns as well on this water issue in regards to the Sultana's idea about water justice. Like in Indonesia, yeah, our laws says clearly, right? Water
Mm,
is
mm,
water is human rights. It's basic needs. It's a basic need for everyone. Without water, we cannot live. Human cannot live. But the interesting thing is that water in Indonesia has been privatized.
mm.
Like this
Yeah.
this crucial thing is being privatized now. Like in the past, you could, like, especially people living in the villages, they could easily get the water, right, from the rivers, from their what's the source? The
Uh,
what do you call it? The well
oh yeah,
of the
yeah,
village.
from the well.
But now it's getting really hard, to get that even in the village. Uh,
Mm,
I heard some conflicts as well happening between the water company and
mm, mm,
the locals, where in the past they could access the water easily, but since the companies came, they
mm.
couldn't get the water for
Yeah.
free, and they needed to purchase it if
Yeah.
they wanna enjoy it. So yeah, that's the complex things compared to
Yes.
Malaysia and other countries. Like water can be easily enjoyed, right? Because they consider water as human needs, so it cannot be privatized. But in Indonesia, it's another thing. So
Yeah.
that's what makes the issue complicated,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
because I think there's also like an overlapping uh, issues are played here in the water management issues. Like
mm-hmm.
in our political system, if you wanna become a politician, you need much money. You need like a lot of money to do campaigns, to do like political works and so on. And but I haven't got the data, but I believe that there's also like an overlapping interest here between the politicians and also the companies that wanna access the political power. So they pay someone wanting to become a politician, and once
Mm,
they get elected, they should impose some policies that could benefit their funders, right? Including the water investors.
Yeah,
That's why I
you have
think
to pay back something like
yeah,
that.
this is what makes the issue is complicated. I believe there's data on that where companies pay like fund the
Mhm.
politicians to
I
get
mean the politician.
elected, in
Yeah,
this.
you're right.
So yeah,
I
that's
think
what this issue even more complicated. And on like in addressing this issue, we should first, yeah, consider this issue is like as a human rights, and then we can like do more campaigns as a civil society, that water should be free for all and so on and so forth. So yeah, that's what my concern is, Mas Luke. Thank you.
okay, thank you so much for adding some great points, Angga. Maybe I will just moving on to our last slide because I still have one more activities for us, and I think like we still have 8 minutes to go. So yeah, I was just going quick for
Before
this.
you start this slide, because we started late, I think it's okay for us
Okay.
also
Oh,
finish
okay,
late
okay.
for 5 minutes.
Because you mentioning that we should finish at 10. So yeah, okay.
Maybe yeah, 10,
Um,
10, 5. It's okay.
okay, 10 and 5. Okay. So yeah, this is our last slide. So continues the previous slide talking about the water justice. We are still talking about the Sultana's idea. So she is also pointing out that she has like some suggestion for us to achieving the equitable water access. So there are like 5 points that she mentioning. First thing first, we should increase the education and awareness on water issues and justice, especially for younger generations. So that's her idea, first idea. The second one is ask critically questions and conduct targeted research related to water justice. So if you remember, okay, I will just give you slide back. So if you remember this kind of question, you should put these questions into your the research design that you want to uh, give about the water. And then the other point is that promote a water ethic by rethinking our relationship with water. So this is just to give you like an insight what does it means by the water ethics and rethinking the relationship with water. So as far as you as our discussion, we already mentioning that water as kind of as a noun, water as a thing that we need. It is kind of how to say, it is kind of things that we should buy, that we should purchase, that we should have to give us to for us to continuing life. So we see them as like a commodity that can be transferable. I mean, like that we can purchase as long as you have money, then you can get the access. But actually, how if we go back to the meaning of water as not only like as a resource. So we talk water as I mean like with relations to that actually everyone should have access to water, that everyone yeah can access water whatever their background. Actually we put like we switching our idea uh from seeing water as only a commodities. So we not only thinking it as economically, but we talk water about that water is like a resource of life for everyone. So whether you are poor or you are rich, you have to access water because you have to have it to continue your life. So that's what does it means by the rethinking our relationship with water. And then the other one is encouraging water justice advocacy by supporting involvement as water warriors. So yeah, that's why I giving you the. Anyone here ever heard about Pandawara group? Can you raise your hand maybe if anyone ever heard about Pandawara group? Okay, Sophie, GNR, and also thank you for your participation. Yeah. So yeah, Pandawara Group. Maybe GNR, you want to give us like a short introduction about Pandawara? Maybe
Yeah, yeah,
everyone understand about this.
yeah. I just know that group from Instagram, I think,
Okay.
because at that time it was so viral.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
there's like some of Pandawara is like maybe five, right? Five of guys
Mhm.
who have like intention to do the cleaning, clean the water, clean the place, and they give like how to say, like, yeah, they documentation what
Mhm.
they do, right, and they get full support. But lately I think they have like some not problem issue, yeah, because
Mhm.
they mentioned some place, but the local government they didn't have like respect what
Oh,
they
okay.
do.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
I just forgot, but it's like several months ago. I don't know, but yeah, maybe it's the because in the other point, see, they try to promote what they do, right, and to build the awareness from how to maintain. Yeah, one of them is like watering.
Yeah.
To keep clean, right? But in other point, maybe the local government didn't really like what they do. Is
Yeah.
like
Maybe the
give
government
this.
just feel envy because they can do many things, but
Yeah, but
don't do
maybe in the
anything.
other parts, like they like become a black sheep. Maybe they feel like
Yes.
that. Yeah, that's what I know, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, GNR. Okay, any other one to give their opinion about Pandawara? Okay, Sophie, please.
Yeah, I hope I'm not taking too much time. What I've heard about Pandawara is a group of guys that voluntarily cleaning the rivers in all over Indonesia.
Mhm.
And I just saw a couple of their video in Instagram and YouTube that they search the dirtiest river
Mhm, mhm.
in Indonesia, and they fly there and they try to clean it.
Yeah.
But what which is a very good movement actually, and I'm really glad that they actually documented it. They share it on their social media so that they can encourage people
Mhm.
or maybe inform people that this is the condition, this is the reality in our
Yeah.
rivers currently. But unfortunately, after I think they've been doing it almost 2 years, if I'm not mistaken,
Mhm.
and many rivers that have been cleaned is
Mhm.
become dirty again, you
Okay.
know,
It's not
because of
sustainable
the
then.
yeah, it's a very sad
Yeah.
news that
Yeah.
we could is receive. And the reason why, because the people who the surrounding who live
Yeah.
there, it's not really I would say not really grateful for what they
Mhm.
have,
Mhm.
and they just not know how to maintain it.
Yeah.
Though the water is actually the sources to let them live. The water
Yeah.
is actually helping them
Yeah.
to continue the living, but they're the basic thing that they can do is just not throwing trash there.
Mhm.
It's more than it's something it's hard to do, but it's a very fundamental thing, which is very ironic for
Yeah.
me.
So
Thank you,
it's
sir.
very, yeah, thank you so much, Sophie, for sharing with us. Yeah, I think like Sophie and also the previous speaker also mentioning about Pandawara. You already maybe like because they are so popular, you already know about their actions. Yeah, they are just cleaning the river, and that's what maybe like they referring back to the Sultana's suggestion, actually, maybe Pandawara group, we can categorize them as water warriors, something like that. And then the last point that she mentioned is that fostering water democracy by promoting inclusive participation from diverse groups to voice their aspiration on water. So actually, uh, this idea actually, if I'm not mistaken, Saifullah already mentioning before, the idea on how to representing the voice of the left behind group to maybe to our DPR or MPR, the House of Representative in Indonesia. So yeah, Actually, we already get the idea from the five idea that Sultanas mentioned. So this is our last. I promise this is our last activity. So do you agree or disagree actually to Sultana's suggestion in implementing water justice? So she has like pointing out five ideas. First thing first is about increasing education and awareness, and then asking critical questions, and then promoting water ethics and rethinking our relationship with water, encouraging water justice, and also fostering water democracy. So, do you agree about the suggestion, or maybe if you're not, or if you want to add up, or you want to rebut the arguments of Sultanas, please welcome. I'm inviting everyone who are still here to participate. Yeah, Sophie, please.
Yeah, I would raise my hand again as a promise because I was in the toilet when you pointed me out. I'm so sorry.
Okay, Sophie.
And yeah, I'm actually very happy that you put a specific journal or research about one specific researchers about this topic, which is Sultana. So we can so we can put our discussion in a very focused
Yeah.
not just like talking about water in general, which is that's a very smart idea, I think. Thank you so much. So
Thank you
we
so
can really
much.
focus on this. So I of course I agree with Sultanas, obviously, especially the first point, increase education and awareness, because I don't know why so many people thinking that rivers or sea is a big trash can that they can just put their trash there, do they really think that the ocean or the river have some kind of machine to destroy the trash, and so it just there's nothing would happen there just because it disappear once they throw it, right? That is something that really not crossing my logical thinking. So this is the first point that Sultana mentioned was, that I strongly agree. And the second one is water democracy, which is promoting inclusive participation from diverse groups to voice their aspiration on water. It is really important to know the point of view from the people who directly got impacted by water crisis. For example, that you have mentioned before, indigenous people. I also back in 2022, I do my voluntary in one of rural area in East Borneo, and they have a long river where they put their life on it. They're washing dishes, washing clothes, consume it for hygiene stuff, and etc. And in 2023, the river is all completely black until they call it Black River.
Black River.
And we compare the picture from 10 years ago to 2023 pictures, you're not going to believe that the same river that you're watching right now, because it's completely different. And one of the reasons why is because if I'm not mistaken, there is a coal company or oil company that built around there that impacted the operation of the river itself, and that's also damaged the water. And it is really important to inviting these people to voicing their voice out, speaking from their personal experience, because when we just talking in general, let's save our world by not damaging water, and etc in a general way, it's so hard to grabbing people's attention or just really touching people's heart by doing such a general thing, if you know what I mean. I'm sorry. But if we put direct example from people who directly got impacted from water crisis, we can finally feel their experience, because that actually their personal experience. So that's the reality, that's real. They're providing a real story based on that what they have been felt this entire time. So I strongly agree with this journal.
Okay. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Sophie. You put so, I mean, like your explanation and also examples from the Black River experience when you volunteering in East Borneo is just fascinating because it gives like real examples that even people do not, maybe if you don't give them like the difference picture between this is what happened in 10 years ago and this is what happened now, maybe they just because they know that the water is already like that, or maybe the younger generation, what they see right now is that the black ones. I mean, yeah, it's kind of a good things that you're pointing out, that maybe like before and after can be well, before and after picture can, like give an insight, because everything changes, and maybe like the before and after picture just can give you like a better uh views on what has already changed in that kind of community. And yes, you're also painting something that is right, that changing people, changing behavior is always become very hard, even for us. Maybe like we already have our limitation, we want to change. Maybe like for me, like I want to do diet, but okay, diet coming tomorrow, I mean, like I will just do it tomorrow, or tomorrow, another tomorrow, and we will just cancel it. So yeah, changing habit is very difficult, and I agree to you that the awareness and also water democracy is important. Okay, I welcome you, Saifullah.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity again, Mr. Luke. Before I want to directly answer the question, maybe I
Okay.
want to give my compliment to Pandawara Group, which is, I think I'm on cloud nine to know
Okay.
that our younger generation make an initiative to clean the water from rivers and coastlines and channels. So I think that one is one of the best example that the action is greater than the words. So because we can see that Pandawara group have encouraged the people to join with them to clean the water in rivers and beaches.
Yeah.
And then it would drive the best effect to the society to maybe to give the awareness and education what the important to access good water. And also, speaking of which, about the Sultana's idea about the water framework that she proposed, I think we have to look that the first point is talking about the education and awareness. And I believe that this is not the maybe we can directly do all of the steps in one place, but I think I see that the framework is just like a step and as a sequence.
Yeah.
So the education and and awareness are the essential foundation to change the problem, or maybe to alter the problems in society. Maybe perhaps in our society who don't have any better education access or better degree to access maybe the knowledge of important things surrounding them, it can be hinder the government's program to address the people's problem surrounding them. So in the maybe in the Sultana's idea, they she put the increasing education and awareness on water issues at the first place. So we have to disseminate the information, maybe the importance of water issues for them, maybe because this issue impact on their daily activities or maybe daily basis before we jump to the next step, because in the next step, if the societies don't have enough education and awareness about this issue, I think it makes no sense to talk to them without any knowledge and awareness. uh, and as I mentioned before, the societies think that the government just determine the best solution for their problems, uh, without maybe heard me, but without listening their voices. So I think the government should prioritize the dissemination of water issues and justice to the societies before they want to jump to the next step. Because the education and awareness are the essential foundation to alter the problems in society. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Saifullah. Yes, I agree to you. Like the first thing first, we have to mentioning about the importance of awareness and also education. And you're already mentioning that is the like kind of sequence. So you have to do this first and then the other ones. Yeah, I agree to you. But of course, I mean, like, this is just like a kind of suggestion that she made. But any other ideas that maybe the most important thing is that you are, at least everyone here who are participating in this forum, now understanding that the issue of water justice is very important, first thing first, and then the other one is that you are aware that the water issues is really exists in our communities, and in Indonesia it still remain like becoming a big problem, so that we have to uh, tackle this kind of issue. So every one of you, because we are the younger generation, and I believe that everyone here still have their passion to do many things that you have planned. So yeah, do something. And that's also my invitation for you. Just to make a conclusion, I want to make a call out to action for all the participants here. Will you join me in promoting water justice for all? Okay, thank you so much from me, and I will give it to Angga, giving back to Angga. Thank you so much.
Uh, well done. Thank you so much, Mas Luke, for delivering such useful and insightful presentation and discussion to us, with also like a crucial topic issue regarding water that you just brought to us here. I really appreciate that. And also everyone who is coming to our discussions to the end here. Thank you so much for your insights, for your participation in our discussion. And of course, one of the things that we are doing here is one of the ways that we
Yeah,
do, right, to educate ourselves about the importance of this issue. And also, I hope you can share it to anyone
yeah,
who is also like paying attention, like concern on this water issue as well. And of course, like call to act, like do actions because actions speak louder than
yeah.
words, right?
Oh
And
yeah, that's what
also,
I'm going to do.
and calls for the most responsible persons as well that is polluting our world right now, which is what
Yes,
many younger generations have been doing globally at the moment. Because they have great awareness, but why the problems are still there? That's why they call someone or groups who are most responsible for this issue to take action.
take action.
Okay, before we end and close the discussion, as always, I have two more sessions, which are like what's photo sessions. But first, I have first photo session. Let me share the slide first. Okay, this one with the certificate and the other one without the certificate. Okay, hello everyone.
Thank you so
Now I'm
much.
asking you to share your screen with your handsome and beautiful faces.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Zulfa, Saiful. Thank you for your active participation. Sunshine as well, Henny, GNR, Anis, Otta Community, our legend, Mr. Corey. Anis, are you there? Do you wanna share screen?
Sorry, cannot turn on my camera.
All right, that's totally fine. Just give me a second. I prepared to take pictures while waiting for me. Please. Yeah. Now I'm ready. I count from one.
No symbol of water justice or what?
How? Show
No
me.
signature.
I don't know, but you can make some symbol with
Do you have any ideas?
water.
Sunshine? Okay, just take pictures then. With anything, with any pose you'd like to show.
Okay.
One, two, three. One more. One, two, three. Okay, Mr. Luke, this certificate is yours. I'll send this
Thank you so
after the discussion.
much.
And one more, without the certificate.
Okay.
Okay, now be prepared. One, two, all right, three. Last one. One, two, three. All right, thank you so much, everyone. I'll send the photos to the group, okay, to our three groups, which we have. Thank you so
Thank
much, and again, Mas Luke, for your discussion. And before we
you.
close, when I say yesterday after, sorry, Mr. Sanchan.
Hell Ota. Hell Ota.
No.
Yesterday we said tomorrow.
Yesterday is yeah. Ota community, and you say
Okay.
yesterday
Yesterday we said tomorrow.
Okay, Ota
Okay.
community.
Yesterday
Yesterday
we
we
Yesterday we
said
say
say
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Thank you so much,
Bro.
everyone, and I'll see you again next.
Mr. Luke, thank you
Bye.
everyone.
Okay, thank you
Bye-bye.
Bye,
everyone. Have a good
everybody.
night.